Hello everyone and welcome to the first match of the Cambridge versus Imperial College London tournament sponsored by MMOCircles. I'm Sam Sylvester. Joining me today is Toby Shores and Luke Bow. How are you guys doing? Are you excited for the game?
I mean, hell yeah. Should be an exciting one. First match of the MMOCircles tournament.
Yeah, so
I'm
this is
expecting.
this is the first round. We've got Extra Thick versus Dirt Division ambassadors here. Extra Thick from Imperial College London, one of the top-rated teams in the regional league, whereas Dirt Division ambassadors are sort of an unknown. We've never seen them before.
Yeah, so Extra Thick, they were looking to be one of the top teams in the Newell. They were 7-2 before the final week, and then they went 0-3 in the final week. So they were very close to hitting nationals. Sadly, fell short, but they are basically one of the top teams from Imperial. So we're looking them to go far in this tournament.
And so we're expecting a one-sided match, or is it going to be the long, drawn-out series that we see in professional play? What are you expecting from this match?
Well, going by playstyles alone, I can say I only know much about Extra Thick. They have a very early game oriented playstyle in terms of their jungler. So I expect if Imperial are ahead, it should be a quite fast game. But if they don't manage to get ahead, I can imagine it being quite drawn out.
Let's talk about the current meta. We're looking at a tank meta where games get drawn out a lot, but do we expect, due to the probable skill difference, that they would just pick an early game team and try to roll over them, like Team Liquid has been doing in the NALCS, or how is this going to go?
I mean, I don't know really. I mean, one of the things that's also worth mentioning is that this team is not playing with their full normal roster, so they've got two substitutes. So that might mean that they're maybe a bit hesitant to make plays. They might be maybe like looking to sort of fall back on an easier to play style, maybe go for late game. But I mean, we'll have to see. I don't know much about the Cambridge team. Could you tell me much about that?
No, actually, the Cambridge team is also an unknown to us, so these are not a team that is regularly in Newell. These are just 5 guys who we've never seen before and just signed up for the MMOCircles tournament. I believe the ELOs are substantially reduced compared to the ICL teams. ELOs were pretty much 5 diamonds versus 5 plats or golds.
Okay.
But I do know that they play fairly regularly, so we'll see.
First round of bans are already 3 mid lane bans, and not necessarily meta champions except for the Zoe. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, so I've been looking up the teams beforehand, and it seems that quite a lot of ICL, they do play Anivia and Syndra and Xerath, so I think it's just target bans at the moment.
Yep, so the bans from Cambridge side seem quite, well, they're definitely meta picks. Xayah is one of the top 80 carries, as is Zoe, but from Imperial side, Xerath, Syndra, and Nivea, maybe these are targeted. I don't know what Vincent plays really, but yeah.
Yeah, actually, we haven't seen it.
The Garen ban.
The Garen ban. That sounds to me like a target ban.
One of Ender's picks, he played it yesterday, and I've played it many times before. I was surprised to see it banned actually in this draft. Cog first pick makes sense. He's actually one of the top tier 80 carries right now. You can pretty much play him into anything. He's got a strong lane and a strong late game. So
I would expect an answer with a Sejuani or a Jarvan, along with maybe a support pick or the AD carry pick. Take one of those top tier junglers, deny it from the others, unless you're going to take it away in the next ban phase.
Yeah. So Sejuani comes out. That is
Sejuani.
Accurately predicted. So Malzahar is one of the. Oh, I guess we have to wait for these things to be locked in. But I mean, Malzahar would be is one of the meta mid laners available right now, as is Ryze and Azir. I don't know what, I think this is Kenneth playing in the mid lane. I don't think he plays Azir or Ryze, so I'm not sure we'll see those come out.
Ooh, the Kayn. Why would you pick Kayn over
This guy
Jarvan?
is a Kayn one trick. That is...
Yeah, and yeah, that's a point I want to hit on. Looking at the bans here, we've got the non-meta bans coming out of ICL's team versus the, but because they're the target bans, versus the currently the Cambridge teams having meta bans with the exception of Garen, but it's not target bans. So it just seems to me to show the relative experience of playing against actual organised teams. The ICL team seems to have done a lot more scouting, a lot more preparation for this match, whereas the Cambridge team is more used to playing, I guess, ranked flex, so they just do whatever bans. They don't seem to have really done their research.
Alright, we have the first pick and ban phase done. Let's talk a little bit more about the Fiora blind pick. Fiora not necessarily one of the priority top laners. Why does she make sense why does it make sense to blind pick her here, and how does that fit into the team comp?
Well, it's definitely not a top tier pick right now, but if it's this guy's main champion, if he really does one trick it in solo queue, then potentially he's comfortable picking it in any matchup, and he wants to give counter picks with other lanes.
Alright, so then the last pick on the red side was the ThICc, so they are looking to shove in the mid lane. They should have very little viable opposition given that there are 4 mid lane bans already. What do you think?
We might see a Tristana ban come out from IC, because the safe mid laners, the top tier safe mid laners are. Oh, Darius ban comes out. I was going to say the top tier mid laners right now are Tristana, Varus, Zyad, and I mean there's a few others. Kog'Maw. But once those are off the table, Cambridge will be forced to pick a lower tier AD carry. Tristana ban comes out. That's somewhat expected.
I'm surprised that they haven't picked up on the Callista, and I feel like they should pick it now. What is Cambridge's win condition right here? Because they have a massive team fight.
Yep.
But they look like they're just gonna get kited out from the Kog'Maw Janna.
Yeah. So they have the late game. I think that's what they're going for. Vayne Fiora, they're hoping to have some sort of split push pressure. Talia's good in a split push situation because she can collapse on the split pusher, and also, I mean, she also provides good wave clear in the 4. So, I think Cambridge is looking to take this late and to sort of take Imperial apart and into the side lanes.
Do you think that last pick Lux changes the dynamic of how the game is going to go? I would expect the Sejuani and Talia to heavily camp the Lux, especially with no defense.
Yes, definitely. I think that's exactly what Cambridge is going to do in the laning phase of this game. If you look at the other lanes, I mean, looking to the other lanes, Kog'Maw Janna's quite safe. Nah is a lot safer. I think the priority has to go onto Lux.
All right. With 30 seconds on the clock, let's talk about win conditions. What does each team need to do in order to win this game?
I think if it goes very late, and I think if they don't get killed, like snowballed on too early by the Kane, Cambridge can, outperform Imperial in the split push situation. Imperial side, they've got some winning lanes actually, so they could just try and run Cambridge over, as soon as possible.
It's certainly looking like late game the Imperial will not have many options other than to just rely on protecting the Kog'Maw. Their late game damage is really quite low compared to the Fiora, Vayne, Talia of Cambridge.
Yeah, so I think a bigger problem would be their lack of initiation. So they've got a lot of damage in terms of Kayn, Lux, and Kog'Maw. And also Na is alright at matching Fiora's split push pressure. But they don't have any initiation at all apart from a Na flank. So they need to be able to force fights, and they're somewhat lacking in the ability to do that. Whereas on Cambridge's side, they've got Sejuani, initiation with the Braum follow-up, and then also they've got Talia ultimate for sort of collapsing on people. So
yeah, that's a very good point. The only way that extra ThICc are going to be able to engage is with the Gnar route, and that is unreliable at best, and it's quite difficult to play around. We'll see how much practice they have.
Since we're talking about a lack of engage, I want to talk a bit more about the Kayn pick. Now, in Champ Select, we wondered why they took the Kayn over Jarvan, and one of you guys mentioned that he is pretty much a Kayn one-trick, but at this point, when your comp has no reliable CC, would the Narvin combination maybe have been better to give them a reliable engage?
Yeah, I think that totally makes sense. It's more towards what the players champion pools.
Yeah, it's about that balance again, like you say, of one trick versus team synergy. I know in my experience, picking the one trick is often best, especially against a team whose elo. If you don't respect the team, you pick your one trick because you're just more confident that you can just stomp them in the early game. This again is about the point I made earlier of Cambridge not really having a strategy of, or not really having done their research against ICL. Extra Thick is clearly a Kane one trick, but no bans were out.
Yep. I think they definitely could have target banned the Kane. He also plays a bit of Nidalee, but those are the two. It could have been banned out quite easily. They also probably could have found out that Extra Thick's mid laner, Creature Boy, doesn't really play Zoe, I don't think. I'll have to check on that, but
Yeah,
so
again.
that ban seems a little bit strange.
Yeah.
One of the things that I noticed is that Kalista fell entirely through the pick and ban phase. Supposedly one of the strongest AD carries. Do you guys think that she'll play a role in the upcoming matches, or is she just going to continue the trend of falling through the pick and ban phase?
So I think it depends on the champion pools of these two AD carry players. So I've seen Kartire play Kalista. I don't think it's one of the things that he really falls back on in terms of needing to carry. I don't know much about this Cambridge's AD carry. I mean, if he's playing Vayne, there's a possibility that he also plays Kalista. That's somewhat similar.
Yeah,
in
so
play
I don't
style.
believe he plays Callista, but he definitely mains Vayne, or at least is one of his main ADCs. So it seems that both ADCs are on their comfort picks here, so it should be an interesting bot lane.
Yeah.
Fair enough. The game is about to get underway. We'll see what both teams have to offer. We know who should have the edge here, but let's see if Cambridge can pull off the upset.
Yeah, it certainly will be an upset at the moment. We've had comments saying that people are generally heavily in favour of Extra Thick ICL's team here. So I hope we can bring it to 3 games. But if not, hopefully Division Ambassadors can truly be the Ambassadors, because, well, so far we haven't seen much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's too early to really make any big claims about this. I mean, based on just respective solo queue elos, maybe we'd hope that it would go in Extra Thick's favour, but I mean, you know, whoever shows up on the day can definitely take it.
Let's talk about the runes reforged. We see the Sejuani take the fleet footwork over the aftershock, so going for the extra clear over the tankiness, and the Fiora with kleptomancy. Is that a wise choice against a late game team?
So I think the kleptomancy makes sense from Fiora. I mean, it was nerfed in 8.2, I believe, but on melee champions, it's like still quite effective. And if they're looking to go late game, kleptomancy sort of helps her, farm up, get gold, and she'll definitely have a gold edge over the Nart if she can keep up in terms of CF. Other interesting things about this, I mean, to be honest, the rest of the summoner Keystone choices seem quite standard, apart from those two. Both AD carries taking fleet footwork, and Janet Airy and Braum Guardian. So, yeah.
I wanna shift the focus to Cambridge's mid laner, who has opted for the Ignite without the Unsealed Spellbook. Unsealed Spellbook, a popular summoner, a popular room that has been taken. Why go for Airy and the Ignite?
I think it comes down to the gank pressure they have onto this Lux. So they've got Sejuani provides good CC, and Talia has good follow-up. So I think the Ignite is just to secure the kill, and potentially snowball off that. As for those summoner, actually, I guess you're talking about the Spellbook. Well, I mean, it's quite a new thing in terms of pro play, so it's also quite a big. One of the big reasons people take that is for the teleport, which takes a bit of getting used to in terms of mid lane play.
But perhaps taking the Ignite early and then using the Unsealed Spellbook to swap for perhaps a Ghost against something like the Lux against something
exactly.
like the Gnar.
I think
that is a rune choice that I personally don't understand. And we've got a pause coming in right now.
Let's see if we can figure out what's going on.
Right, so I want to talk a bit more about the bot lane matchup. Again, we have no exhaust from this side of Imperial College. Bringing the Ignite on the Janna, is that really a wise thing to do against Vayne, Braum, and a Fiora rushing at you?
Well, I think WMAX Janna is quite the lane bully, and they might actually have some kill pressure in this lane. When Brahms Unbreakable's not up, then you know, they're pretty much defenseless against the COG. Yeah. So I mean, I think it depends. Look, if you think about how these teams are trying to play it, I think ThICc are trying to run away with this quite early. So Ignite makes sense in that context.
Alright, we see the classic 5-man defense line from Cambridge. No deep vision acquired. The only wards that Imperial has gotten down is that one ward where ThICc is currently hovering.
Yeah, we're saying defensive from both teams here. I was kind of expecting, honestly, Extra ThICc to try to invade, given the lack of respect they appeared to show with their comfort picks and champ select. My experience is they typically just run ham into the enemy jungle level 1 and try and pick up a few free kills, but it seems that Dirt Division ambassadors were prepared for this. They've spread out quite well. Although they didn't put as many wards at the front, they could have easily suffered here from an invade on one of the buffs.
Okay, let's talk about the Fiora coming late and being pushed in. We see that this is mirrored on the bot lane. Kayn is going to be pathing towards the top side, so we would expect the first action to occur in the top side. But what advantage are they really going to get out of it in a bot lane meta?
Well, shutting down a Fiora early hurts her sort of late game split pushing like fantasies. I don't know. I think it's just sort of a less safe lane, really. Like, it's hard to gank a Braum. So
it's hard to gank Braum, but less hard to gank a Vayne early game. But I think we're mainly going to see the top lane suffer for Cambridge's side. Fiora's going to be really pushed in quite early. As you can see, it's already started to happen. Now 3 CS ahead at the top lane. Bot lane having some nice early trades here, with the Janna going pretty low. Actually surprising that the Janna managed to take so much damage from that. She does have one pot to go. Braum has the 3 pots.
Let's have a look at the mid lane where Kayn is currently...
Oh, and again comes on the mid lane. We have Kayn trying to get the Talia here. Talia's fired the rocks out and flashed away, but it looks like she was playing too aggressively, and she should very easily go down to the Lux laser. And that is an unfortunate start to Imperial College London, or to Cambridge's gameplay, as it seems they were playing far too cocky in the early game. We were talking about how passive ICL seemed to be playing at the start of the game, but it doesn't seem to have happened.
Ooh, look at the top lane, look at the top lane.
Top lane seems to have gone pretty, and the bot lane's coming in. Sejani's coming for a bank. Nobody noticed that, but concussive blow's not quite enough on the Janna to get the stun off. Vayne's tumbling into the wall. They have to heal to get out. Kog'Maw's nearly got the kill there, but he's not quite managed to get the final hit on. But all the summoners blown from the Vayne. Flash and heal, Flash and exhaust still up on Braum, and Flash and ignite down. And Fiora goes in onto Chaos Effect playing Gnar. He managed to. I think he's just playing with her at this point though. There should be no way of getting the kill.
All of it started from a simple play. We saw the Kayn move into the Cambridge topside jungle, take away the Raptors, and then ThICc just recklessly pushing in.
We're seeing here Fight of the Universe having to get out of a failed invade there. He does manage to live just about. This top lane, both champions are going very, very low here. We're seeing quite cocky plays, and they know both the junglers aren't here. They both seem confident they can stay in lane. I'm guessing they really want to get a kill on the other person, but as you can see, Koei is getting taken very low by the Gnar boomerangs here. I think Fiora really needs to back off there.
Yep, I mean, it's not really that much of a loss to back right now. Well, they've got a cannon minion.
The TP is still up, and the boomerang hits him at the last second. That was a classic cheese from the Gnar. Should never suffer from that. Koei Vixen, that is definitely playing too cocky. You've got to realise the boomerang has the long range if you fire it in the opposite direction. There was no reason to back there. Somebody was shopping indeed. There was no reason to back so close, especially in Vision. Gnar knew exactly what Koei was doing.
Alright, now that the top side and mid lane both have a huge advantage.
Oh, the trade goes off in the mid lane, light binding dodged by Vincent. And that seems to be the end of the trade. If he'd have been hit by the light binding, that surely would have resulted in death. You did bring up the point, Talia does have an ignite, or gets hit by the Luxie in this then. But yeah, Talia does have ignite without the spellbook, so you'd expect her to be winning these early trades, but apparently not.
Then let's talk about that a bit more. Now that the ThICc has fallen behind, has given up the first blood, and has put herself behind and will never be able in a position to push out and roam with her ulti at level 6.
We're seeing some
How
trades
does-
on top lane
how
again,
does
but the
this
Gnar
change?
seems to be winning these trades. Fiora's coming. Oh, there was a gank there. I didn't see that one coming. Neither apparently did Chaos Effect. This should be a kill. Oh, Fiora goes down to Chaos Effect. This is going to be the 1v2. Chaos Effect is staying very, very confident here. She's trying to kite them away. Sejuani's going to be killed by the outplayed Gnar 1v2. That was a successful outplay by the Gnar, but you just got to think, why were they engaging 2 versus 1 with that many minions?
Very true, and I think that now the top lane and the mid lane should be both cracked open. You'd expect them to save their make some room for the bot lane, and then play around that Rift Herald, use it to crack open the mid lane. I would expect Nard to
Yeah,
take over that lane
right about
segment.
the Rift Herald. Rift Herald's going to be spawning soon, and we've already 6 minutes of the game. We've got a 3-0 Gnar. And bot lane's going with some more trades. Janna's remaining very low, but apparently that means nothing for the lane, as last time they managed to burn all summoners away. Kane's ganking in the bot lane's coming through the back. Braum dashes to the Vayne, and they seem to be out of this one. Oh, Chaos Effect maybe getting a bit cocky in the top lane there. Chaos Effect is still running away from Kawe Vixen, but he's 2 levels up. He can kite her. If she's going for the tower dive, is going to be a bad one. Tanking the minions again, and they're basically both an even trade by the end of it. Chaos Effect is going to back now, and he has no T boost. That should give Kawe Vixen a bit of a breathing room. But 3-0 Gnar in the top lane this early on is not something to that's fun to play against. And more importantly, the 0-2 Fiora. This is a champion who typically relies on snowballing quite a lot, and if she is so low in the early game, it's going to require a lot of stalling by Dirt Division ambassadors.
Yeah.
And this goes. Sorry. This goes back to champion select. We see the Fiora pick, blind picked. You'd expect some sort of confidence or lane advantage out of that, but that just hasn't been achieved. Sejuani practically invisible on the map so far, except for that one failed gank. So what does Cambridge have to do to claw this one back?
But to be honest, top lane's going appallingly. Bot lane, it's the one thing that hasn't been mentioned yet is the CS lead. It's absolutely filthy. They've got 54 CS, Vayne's 22 CS. It's just not even fair. Somehow I think they have to make something happen onto this luck.
However, Kane is trying to counter jungle. He's having a bit of action here. Dirt Division ambassadors have just got out the Kane, and the Lux traps them on the binding. They're just about to run away here, and they have completely failed to repel the counter jungle. What happened there? Kane tried to invade the blue. Dirt Division ambassadors start collapsing on Lux, hits 2 of them in the light binding, gets the ult and the combo off, gets a double kill. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Fiora gets taken down by Chaos Effect. This was not a good start for Dirt Division ambassadors. I think they should have picked some safe early game champions against that high mechanically skilled champions. It looks like we're going to suffer from a massive tower dive on the bot lane here.
And at the same time, we see Nard taking down the top lane. This is going to be absolute disaster.
Let's have a look
for
if they can
Cambridge.
manage to escape this. The flash ignite from the Janna. Janna's going to die to the tower aggro, except for the stopwatch. Vayne survives. Janna survives as well. That was just waste of summoners from the Janna in the end there.
We currently have a 5k advantage at minute 9. Surely this must be a clean game. Is there anything that Cambridge can do to get this back?
I think it really relies on Imperial making mistakes at this point. 5k lead at 9 minutes is almost unheard of in evenly matched games. I think we need to see something happen with this mid lane, really, because they've been holding it quite well in terms of keeping the turret alive. They need to stop bleeding turrets, and if they can stop Imperial from sort of snowballing this out of control by holding their turrets.
They've been holding it quite well up until now, but remember, Lux just got that double kill, so now it's going to be even harder for Vincent to hold against. I don't even know how you pronounce his name. Croach Boyd, I'm going to say.
Yeah, Croacher Boyd is what we're going with.
Croacher Boyd. Oh, the Sejuani comes in with the Glacial Prison. This is going to be a free kill for the Lux, and on the Lux, in fact. That's 1 kill picking up from Cambridge's side.
We currently have the Rift Herald spawning.
What was that
we would expect
flash
Cambridge to
Kawaii Vixen on the top lane, taken down by Gnar, flashing on the spot to avoid the auto attack. I'm going to guess that was a misclick. In meanwhile, he's being collapsed by Sejuani. Sejuani's getting on. She has no ult up, but Chaos Effect is going to kite. Is he going to pull off the 1v2 again? Talia's coming in. The stopwatch comes out from the Sejuani, but she's still going to die to the Gnar. Gnar turns Mega. We're going to have to see if he can pull off the 1v2. The ult comes into the wall. Vincent's running away. That is indeed the 2v1 outplay from Chaos Effect again. He is absolutely destroying this game. 7-0 with 10 minutes in the game.
There's a teleport coming from Fiora. Is this a desperation play?
This is a desperation outplay, but I feel like Chaos Effect is still going to pull this off. Steve's 3 levels above. He's going to run away. He's going to boomerang again. Is he going to pull it off? The one more auto, and Kawe Vixen does it. He just about manages to pull off. That was full health versus about 25% health. Meanwhile, Kane in the top lane.
However, these plays have somewhat slowed down the game. We're down to 4,000 gold.
Kane in the
Still
top lane.
Still an absurd lead, but let's see if he can get the
And
execute.
Kawe Vixen's going for the execute. He does manage it. That is at least some go back. We're now only 4.5k in on the favour. Hopefully bot lane can escape this dive from the Lux. Unbreakable shields the binding. Vane's
Kane
knocked back
currently
sends
at
Lux
the
away.
Rift Herald.
So like you said, they are going for the Rift Herald, which is an advantage in the early game. Talia starts to head down in the river on mid lane and ends up getting pulled away, as you see as everyone collapsing on her. Let's see if Vincent's going to stake this. Fight of the Universe on Kane, coming in from the back. On very low health, Lux is still alive. Sejuani comes in, but it's not enough to save her. Meanwhile, can the concussive blows? The Brawl Malt comes out, 2 more hits for the stun. Are they going to go for the dive? They're not going to go for the dive. I think they actually should have done there. They knew the positions of everyone else in the game. They knew they weren't going to come down. They were just playing too scared. In fact, the one that they shouldn't do. Although if you look at that CS difference on the bottom lane, 90 to 34, it's not going well at all for Dirt Division
Another thing
ambassadors.
to consider about that dive is Cog still has a stopwatch available, so
That's
I mean,
a very
I'm not
good
sure
point.
if they're aware of this, but I mean he would have probably just tried anyway.
Alright.
Okay,
Imperial had the map split, currently going for
skirmish on the
bottom
side, skirmish on the tri-bush side. Vayne stunned them into the bush. Let's see if Fight of the Universe can get out. The Janarok comes a bit preemptively just for the heal there. Brom's going to run away. They're going to collapse on the side. There seems to still be a fight going. We'll see how this ends. No, Sejuani is backed out, and now bot lane is just going to try and defend from the tower dive here.
And we see Imperial cleanly shift the map. They cracked open the mid-tier mid-tier 1 while Nar was pushing in on the top side, and then cleanly moved into the jungle. Got a bit caught, but then are now shifting towards the bottom side. What should be the priority, given that the Rift Herald
Oh,
is
Nar going
up?
in for a tower dive on the Fiora up here. Kawe Vixen just trying to juke him out, but he's going to turn Mega Nar. Chaos Effect, is he going to manage to... What's this, the 5th outplay of the game? Yes, he is. Kane comes in to steal the kill. Fight of the Universe, what a scumbag. Meanwhile, Cartier on Cogboard taking the tower from the bot lane of Dirt Division ambassadors who just retreated. Sajada's coming in to clean up, to make sure these minions don't die to nothing. But I don't know if Dai realizes that Fight Union is hiding in the bush. Is he going to pull out a bit too far? Looks like he's going to go for the full recall here.
Alright. And the team's pushing up the mid lane. We now are looking at the tier 2s. So, still no Rift Herald taken. My favorite subject tonight.
Caught in the combo. Vincent caught in Croachy Boyd's combo there. Nearly taken out, but he hasn't even itemized any MR yet. I guess with 0, 4 and 62 CS in 30 minutes, there's not much in the way of MR that you can actually go for.
Yeah, he sort of has to prioritize the wave there by flushing Morales, so...
Kawe Vixen going
only
into
after-
Chaos Effect, Daifuck coming in onto Croacher Boyd. Let's see how these fights are both going. Fiora on Kawe Vixen on Fiora, just about hanging back there.
Right, so we see Nar still holding the pressure. He hasn't backed in quite a while. Teleport currently down. What's the game plan
Okay,
to close
Fight
out
of the Universe
for-
going again onto the counter jungle. The counter jungle of the blue buff, and this time it looks like they are actually going to succeed in killing him off. Kane ult's there. And the directed camera pulled me off, but they do get the kill on Fight of the Universe. They were prepared for this one. He's done that 2 or 3 times this game already, invading the blue buff.
That's exactly the sort of thing they need to do to get back into this game. They just need to probably do it about 5 more times.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going with the Vincent's going to tally right, but Lux cuts 2 people in the binding. Vayne's going to dive in, flashes away, but the binding did so much damage with the combo. The tally rock was stopping them from getting to Brom. Brom with the unbreakable. The light binding's coming out onto Vincent. Vincent's going to try and run away. We will go back to top lane. There's a tower dive going on. Head back into the bottom lane fight. Vincent's just about to survive. Can she survive the Cogbor ults here? Lux thinks she's overstayed her welcome. Croacher Boyd is backing off, but they are going to get this tower for free. That turned out with a good move from Dirt Division ambassadors, catching Kane off at the blue buff here and then going over on the side to catch off the Lux with the Talia wall. But it just wasn't enough, as Lux seems to be too far ahead, catches 2 people in the binding and ult, killing one of them, nearly killing another. In the meantime, Fiora does die to the top lane to Chaos Effect, so not looking good. That was a good play. It's just an example of how far they are behind. It's 10k in 15 minutes.
And now we should.
Oh,
see
Fiora's teleporting in onto the Nara in the mid lane here. This is not going to work. K-Wave, Vixen and ThICc are going at it. It's actually surprisingly well for Fiora. Sejuani, ThICc and Sejuani helping out there, but it's just not enough. These are all really good plays. If they could have held on for 15 minutes without getting a goal disadvantage, then they could have taken advantage of this, but it's just not enough. The damage is not there.
Yeah, so I think if they were making these plays around maybe 5 or 8 minutes ago, they would have been much more effective.
ThICc looking for the pick off there, hiding in the wall of the red buff. Doesn't go for it. He thinks he's had enough of being too cocky after that last failed attempt for the blue buff. It is 15-3.
And go back 4 minutes.
Now
We
this
had
is, if you look at the red,
4,000
if you look at the red buff here, this is warded, and ThICc goes with the glacial prison. They instantly burst down ThICc. Kane is getting way too aggressive here. I'm not sure it's going to matter in the long term, but he really should stop dying. As you can see, the angry missing pings coming out of ICL.
And if you go back 4 minutes, we had a 4k gold lead for Imperial. That has exploded to over 10,000. Is there any hope
Caught
left?
in a Lux binding again. And the Talia, was Vincent even caught in the light binding there? I don't even know. He might have just walked into the ult and died anyway.
Alright.
Oh, things are looking grim for Cambridge right now.
Yeah, there's nothing really Cambridge are going to do at this point to come back.
Yeah, so sadly their wave clear is dead, so this should be a free turret for Imperial.
They should hold on for as long as possible and discuss what they're going to change for next game, because at this rate, if they play the same way again, they're not going to have any improvement. So what do you think they need to do for the next game? Clearly their individual mechanics are much less compared to ICL's team. They're not going to win by picking champions like Fiora or Vayne.
I think it's less about what they need to pick and what they
Sejani
need
with
to
the
take
last
away
ditch
from
effort. Meganar's going to come out.
Imperial.
The bindings, the Gnar, there's not enough. The 3-man ult. Fiora's coming in the back to make a last ditch effort. There's just nothing can be done.
Alright, that should be the clean ace
That's the game,
for
yeah.
Team Imperial, and they're going to close out the game. And we need to now take a look at Cambridge. What do they need to change? It's because something drastic has to change to not get steamrolled in 18 minutes again.
Yeah, I think one of the things that happened at this game is that in the early game they got sort of rolled over by the pressure that Kane was able to put on, and also the pressure that Gnar was able to put on. So potentially those are 2 bans they could look to use in the next game. Definitely the Gnar versus Fiora matchup is not going favourably for Cambridge.
And picking up the last few kills, or can Cambridge defend their
Still hit by the
Nexus?
lightning again. Let's see the Vixen with the Talia coming in. They do manage to get the Lux, but the Nexus is so open. They're just having fun here. Cogball flashes away from the Braum.
Grabs a few CS
And it
on
looks
the way
like
out.
50 goals going to the card tier on the Cogmore. Card tire even. And that's game 1 to Imperial.
That is a 15,000 gold lead at 18 minutes. Disgusting.
Yes. I haven't seen a game one-sided in a long time.
Yes, close game, boys, indeed, says the Twitch chat here. We are going to go to a game 2. This is a best of 3. We're gonna be back in about 2 or 3 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
We'll see you then.
Hello everyone, we're back with Game 2 of Cambridge versus ICL Extra ThICc versus Dirt Division Ambassadors. And so far, Dirt Division Ambassadors aren't the greatest ambassadors of Dirt Division, although they are definitely Dirt Division.
Oh, that's a little bit cruel. Yeah, but yeah, all jokes aside, that last game was an absolute stomp. I think Dirt Division Ambassadors really have to pull something out of nowhere in order to take this away. Potentially with some cheese strats, or taking away the champions that Extra ThICc were dominating on.
Yeah, and we discussed last game. We had the lack of target bans, whereas on Extra ThICc side they were heavily targeting Dirt Division Ambassador, especially the mid lane. And these kind of levels, the mechanical differences between the two teams are just too high for people to pick champions like Fiora and Vayne. You're gonna have to pick. You're going to have to pick Annie, Malphite, because we saw hints of promise by the end there. Let me get to champ select there.
The disrespect draft. We have the Aatrox coming out.
We have the Aatrox ban infinitely. The
Faker notoriously banning Aatrox.
Because we did see glimmers of hope in that last game as Dirt
Are
Division
we going to
start
see
putting off good
Vincent's
plays.
final form?
Well, we shall see.
So what needs to change in pick and bans? We talked about switching to target bans, doing some research, but what else can we do? Should we talk about the less mechanically intensive picks, because those have definitely
because
not
as I was touching on, we have seen some promos from Dirt Division Ambassadors. They did pull off some good plays with their team in their team play. Sadly, it was too late by then. They'd already got too low down on gold, and they were just being wrecked by anything that would, Lux would be able to 1v3 at this point. But we did see some promise, and I do know for a fact these guys all play in the same room very regularly. They are inexperienced members of the team. They're just not great individual players.
Alright, we see
two of the same bans,
rather strange bans. The Garen ban once again.
This is from Imperial this side.
Yeah, this time it's from Imperial. Last time it was from Dirt Division.
And we see the Katarina first pick. A pick
so
that's usually easily shut down by CC. I would expect, if they're gonna try hard, I would expect Sejuani and a carry top laner to come out here from Imperial.
Yeah. On the other hand, maybe they feel like their previous game was too try hard, and this game they're going.
This tournament has a £500 prize money. I wouldn't risk it. We're poor students, especially those folk in London who have to pay ridiculous amounts for rent. So, I'd be happy with £500 if I were them. Are we gonna see the Sidges lock in? Come on.
Do it. Do it. We know you want to.
Nah, he's baiting us. He's just trolling us. No, but in all seriousness, in all seriousness, from my experience of teams who have low individual mechanics but high synergy, the champions which tend to work well are the Katarina. You pick Katarina, Annie, Malphite, Jarvan. Champions where you can just press R, and if you're all on the same page, you will kill the enemy team. Play safe in lane. If you pick stuff like, Katarina you can do well against lane, but when you pick stuff like Orianna or Malphite or Annie, there's very little you can do. You just have to sort of wait until they make a mistake. We're having the Kayn taken away from whoever Icy's jungler was.
Fight to the Uber, yeah.
I really disagree with what Cambridge is doing right now. I feel like they should have banned the Kayn, and now Imperial has taken away the Nidalee. The Nidalee is always a pace and snowball jungler, so they are expecting to close out quickly, it seems.
Yeah.
And the Syndra being locked in, as well as the Katarina. I haven't heard anything about proxy picks, so this is a very interesting team comp. If we're going to have a Katarina top or a Syndra top, we're going to have a very weak front line on the side of Dirt Division Ambassadors, which might not be a problem. They didn't last very long anyway. Syndra is better in the early game than Talia would be, or at least easier to play in the early game. Katarina again, kind of a cheese pick in a lot of situations. So
especially a top lane.
Especially
so
a top lane.
Probably going to be a top lane category.
Alternatively, we don't know much about Dirt Division, so they could be just reverting back to their. They may have tried to pick sensibly last game, then revert. Because to be fair, the team comp last game wasn't so bad. They had some engage, they had decent wave clear. They just couldn't pull it off. So maybe they're just reverting to the comfort picks.
I think that's exactly what's going on here. Fiora was probably one of their comforts last game, but then they tried to sort of draft a comp around that, which is sort of sensible. I think this game they're going full out on the comfort. Maybe they can get a snowball out of this Katarina, Kayn, and Syndra combination.
I really do like the Braum pick from Imperial College here. I think it does really well against both Syndra's, the Syndra E, and in terms of disrupting the Katarina, a good protection for the Varus in my opinion, and a strong 2v2 lane in the bottom.
We're waiting for the last round of bans. Renekton is taken out. These are very, very different bans than we had last game. I think that Division Ambassadors are cottoning on to the fact they do need to target bans. It would be pretty disappointing to see them lose in 15 minutes, or effectively about 10 minutes as they did last game.
Yeah. So I think Chaos Effect on Extra Thick side does like playing Renekton, so that ban does make sense. Somewhat.
although I do feel like the Ornn pick is a bit strange if they're looking to snowball. Why would you pick a safe?
We're having the Blitzcrank Vayne.
Oh my god.
Well, Division if they win with this team, even if we last past 30 minutes with this team, they truly are the Division Ambassadors. Have you ever seen a more bronze solo queue team got Katarina, Kane, Syndra, Vayne, Blitzcrank?
Yeah.
What a team! Where we've got a vaguely sensible Xerath in the mid lane, Varus. Is that a? No, we've got Ornn in the top lane. They haven't swapped the champions yet. Braum and Varus in the bot lane.
I wouldn't be surprised about Ornn AD carry at this point, given the cosplay of the Cambridge division. There's no wave clear, there is no foreseeable win condition unless it's going to be a 15-minute snowball, which I do not see happening, especially against what Imperial has drafted here.
Yeah.
What?
Syndra's wave clear is like somewhat respectable. It's not going to be matching the Xerath, but you know, it's nothing like I don't know, right? Well, I don't know.
The question.
I think Imperial just needs to sort of let the game go on more than 20 minutes, and then they should just win the game.
I think the question. I think the question we need to ask here is, have Cambridge fixed the issues of the previous draft, or are they just saying, YOLO, we're going to try and win on the basis of individual skill, which is already a giant mismatch, evidently.
So in terms of jungler, like Kane, Nidalee, very similar sort of playstyle, and there's a good potential that Fight of the Universe could pull off the same sort of thing she was pulling off in the last game, in terms of the early game. One thing is that I think the Ornn is less likely to snowball out of control in the top lane. He's got a lot of gank assist and good flanks, but his 1v1 kill pressure is a lot reduced compared to the nerf. As for bot lane,
Fake Blitzcrank.
Fake Blitzcrank. What a good. Well,
it's not actually that bad of a
we know one thing for certain. Given that Extra Thick is obviously quite an experienced team, quite high low, used to playing against good players, they will have never played against this team comp before. This is an entirely new thing to them. Maybe that will actually be their undoing. They're so used to playing properly in the meta champions, they're just going to get completely wrecked by the Blitzcrank, Syndra, and Katarina and Kane on the same team.
This very much reminds me of something that Soaz, the top laner for Team Fnatic, actually tweeted in the spring of 2017 when they were known for their animal style. Classically memeing about that the enemy can't counter you if you don't know what you're doing, and this seems to be the strategy going forward for Cambridge.
Definitely an intentional strategy on their part. They try to play sensibly. Now they're just going to have fun, and it might go better for them. We look at the solo queue Elo's done. I hate to bring it up too much, but we've got Leo and Jens has been bronze for a few years now, and that is not the kind of player you want on Vayne.
Yeah.
Or on your team,
I mean,
but especially not on
So the
Vayne.
way they're going to play out this lane is probably they're going to get pushed in, and being pushed in is good for a Blitzcrank, because it means the hook's more deadly.
Yeah, they're certainly going to get pushed in on pretty much every lane, with the exception of maybe mid.
Yeah, I think mid can probably hold its own. Katarina.
Being pushed in with stopwatch, not so bad. Currently, less vulnerability to the early game dives. Nidalee as well, not the greatest at tanking the tower, although they can be really annoying if you stand around and just throw spears after spear after spear where you're standing at the back of the tower. But
yeah, another thing I want to bring up is the Nidalee. Last game, we saw a lot of over-aggression out of Fight of the Universe.
yeah.
And Nidalee's the sort of champion where you really do want to go aggressive, and he might get carried away in the same respect. Which might be something that Cambridge can capitalize on by warding their own jungle and trying to catch out this Nidalee when she tries to go for super aggressive plays.
Alright guys, we are gonna get into game within the next 10 seconds. Don't touch that browser. We still need to take a look at the Syndra pick, in my opinion, because that is one of the mismatches I could potentially see. Can they snowball around this? If they can get the Syndra to snowball, can they win the game off that?
Definitely. I mean, I think their entire win condition is snowballing, really. And I think that goes for almost all of the champions on their lineup. So, Kane, if he gets very strong and he starts one-shotting Zera, then mid lane's going to become quite scary, and they might lose some turrets because Syndra can push in quite easily.
And
Same with Katarina.
And now we see what I wanted to see last game, which is the unsealed spellbook, although only on the supports.
Yeah.
Should Blitzcrank, if the win condition is snowball, go for anything other than ignite at this point?
So yes, so one of the things that people are taking unsealed spellbook on support for is switching to teleport and then making plays on the top side of the map. And I mean, Blitzcrank's one of the best at that. I mean, if he can come behind, you know, just run in as fast as he can and knock them up and then hook them in, you know, he provides a lot of single target CC, and you know, teleport could facilitate that. Braum, on the other hand, I think the unsealed spellbook is less of a fit. But I mean, a lot of people are taking it just for the cooldown reduction.
I do think that, however, it is a wise choice on the Braum. Gonna swap for the TP later, ensure the cross map play, and maybe see if they can get a bit of an own snowball going. They have the CC lane set up for the Nidalee in almost every lane. A bit harder to execute in middle, given the skill shots, rather than Ornn, who just dashes forward and CCs you for 3,000 years.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk about anything really at this point, because this does seem like a clean 2-0.
Well, what we can talk about is the Leo and Gens on Vayne, SKTT1 Vayne. Now, we've seen the issues that Leo had in the first game. Is this? I can't remember if they had the skin last game, but is this a statement? Was she just trolling?
What skin was he last game?
It was Vayne again.
Was it the same skin? Was it SKTT1?
Don't know what the skin was.
The problem right now is SKT1 is really bad. So
however bad SKT1 is, they're better than Dirt Division ambassadors. We can be assured of this. They might even be better than Extra ThICc. Who knows?
If we look at the LCK right now, SKT 9th place. There seems to be a trend going on concerning the SKT skin line.
That's true. That's very true. We've got Snowday Well, we've got 4 skins versus 4 skins, so it's even on that front. But you can just see from the loading screen the borders that we have of the shiny diamond of the bottom half of the screen from Extra ThICc of ICL here, and the mixed array of blue to not even any border on Leo and Gens, and the silver one of the Blitzcrank, Boom Boom Blitzcrank. So we're very interested to see how Boom Boom Blitzcrank and SKT1 Vayne fare in their bot lane. Because
so what happened last game was a ridiculous CS lead from Kartire. I think he ended up with 100 CS lead.
Yeah, we didn't see many kills in the bot lane until the gank started happening, but there was a ridiculous CS lead early game. The kills really started happening first in the top lane, where the Gnar solo killed the Fiora several times, but then also we had skirmishes around the bottom half of the map when the blue invade started coming out of Fighter, the universe on the Kane. He would start to be caught out, essentially baiting Dirt Division ambassadors in. They'd come in and then all get trapped by the Lux, and that really snowballed the game out of control. Once you've your bots struggling, your top's completely broken, and your mid also gets broken. That's just game over at this point. If they could have kept the mid in the game, if they could have kept Lux without the one-shot potential, that would have gone a lot better.
The seeming one saving grace seems to be that top lane for Cambridge. To me, this is going to be the only lane that's going to have any pressure, and we are going to avoid that massive Gnar snowball. Because I do not think that Chaos Effect can take this Ornn to his Gnar level. We see a 4-man down the middle and the first break.
And the
Yeah,
first
so I
sports
don't think the
coming up.
teams are going to go for anything crazy. If anything, the Brom team will probably go for some sort of event. Actually, to be honest, I mean,
We've got the
Cambridge.
Blitz. We've got the
Yeah, they have a
Blitz.
Blitzcrank as well.
Unfortunately, the Blitz is on base at 25 seconds. Although
That
the
might
rest of
be
the
the
team
reason
looks
the
like they're
pause.
well prepared for an invade here. Straight out of base, straight into what looks like going to be the bush next to blue buff that they're going to ride into. Unfortunately, they're going to suffer from the fact that they don't actually have the Blitzcrank, but who knows? Go for it anyway. Unfortunately, Extra Thick does look like they're anticipating this. They're running down mid lane, splitting into two. They're going to stand that bush, ward it, and then run back, is what I'd imagine.
We're still gonna have to ask you to stick with us during the pause, as if you decide to leave now and come back in 10 minutes, the game might already be over at this point.
Whoa.
Given how the last one
Let's
went.
give extra. I've been BMing Dirt Division ambassadors, but we can give them credit for this confident choice of champions here. We can say it's confident. There's not much else you can say about it, but it's certainly
Definitely.
confident. And to their credit, keeping a high confidence level after the thrashing they took last game is quite an achievement.
I think
Yeah,
it's less confidence and more sort of clutch against draws. They sort of have to radically change things up.
Radically change their
because they're
strategy. We're looking at the
Yeah.
starting items here. We have interestingly, the Katarina top actually starting with the Doran's shield and health potion. Not my favourite starting combination. I always prefer the more aggressive starts,
Your
especially as
starting
both players
combination
got
on
TB.
Katarina top lane. So,
That's
very common.
That's true. It's Katarina top lane. Maybe the Doran shield is effective, but I am not a fan of the passive starts at all. We see the Relic shield on both the supports, as expected.
One thing to talk about in terms of the bot lane was that last game, they sort of just accrued a CS lead because they didn't have much kill pressure out of the Janna Cogmore, because a lot of the damage was quite expected, and they can just sort of play around that. Whereas this time they have a Varus and a Braum, which brings a lot more kill pressure, especially at level 6. So if we're going to see some sort of dominating performance, we might see a lot of kills from the bot lane. At least if there's a skill mismatch.
We are also seeing there's difference in the number of stopwatches on both teams. We've got 3 on the side of Extra Thick, but only 1 on the side of Dirt Division. Now, the Extra Thick will very much be glad of their stopwatches when you have the Syndra and Katarina and Kayn. The stopwatches will come in super handy there. Dirt Division ambassadors, I would have taken more. All your lanes are going to be pushed in early game, like we discussed earlier. You're probably going to be suffer some tower dives. Now, with only 1 stopwatch, and that's on the jungler, they're in no position to take tower dives here, and it's especially important with the.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one. I think that if their win condition is snowball, they should be putting all their efforts into more damage, and I don't think they would benefit heavily from stopwatches right here, as they aren't going to be looking to tower dive, but rather fight in the middle of the lane.
Well, I'm not suggesting. Well, I'm more referring to the fact that they're going to be tower dived by the lack of wave, especially for the. I'm more focused on the bot lane. The Vayne Blitzcrank is going to be pushed in. The Nidalee's going to try the tower dive. We'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, well, one of the things that stopwatches do enable is more aggressive play. It means that you sort of go beyond your champion's natural limits and just press pause at some point and hope your teammate will save you.
Another aspect of stopwatch that we should talk about is its ability to stall out the early game in case the snowball does happen, which we don't expect to. If the Katarina gets rolling, if the Vayne starts to pop off, they can start preventing the tower dives and dragging them on, maybe trading a few kills here and there. So I think that they have equipped themselves with the tools to stall out this game, should Cambridge find an edge in the early game.
An edge in the early game is really what they'll need with this team composition. Anyone know anything about the individual lane map? Syndra versus Xerath is pretty even. Is mostly just a wave kill lane. What about top? Anyone know how a Katarina versus Ornn is going to go?
Well, I mean, you need to look at how the fight is going to play out. Katarina wants to jump onto the Ornn, and we know that classically Ornn has way too much damage despite the nerf on his W, and you would expect him to cancel the Katarina spells, and therefore win the trade. Although I do think that Katarina should be able to push more quickly.
That's true, and I'm going to go back to the mid lane again here. We've got the Syndra, who is long range, not quite as long range as the Xerath, Typically, if a Syndra wants to win that lane, she's going to have to play quite closer to the Xerath than he would like, which would not play into the favour of the Nidalee jungle, given the level 2, I believe, death that Vincent suffered last game just by playing a few inches away from his tower. If he tries to go aggressive against the Xerath here, he's going to really suffer. So I think what the mid lane should do this game is Vincent's just going to try and wave clear, avoid taking as much poke from Xerath as much as possible, and that is a fire alarm on my part. Which
Well, that's convenient because we've got a pause right now.
convenient, we've got a pause, yeah.
Are you going to die, or do we have to duo cast from now on?
Okay, he's gone. He might be dead. That's
Well,
unfortunate.
That leaves us two.
Okay, you can be play-by-play unless you want me.
we don't need him. We're fine.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I want to talk about is that one of the ways in which ThICc could miraculously lose this game is if they get overconfident. I mean, such a stomp from the last game would sort of indicate, you know, they're going to be feeling like they're just massively better than this team. So we've got to reconnect from the Ornn. Might mean that we could get back into the game shortly.
Well, the Blitzcrank is still AFK in base.
I think he's connected. Is he connected to the game? He's got items, so he's definitely connected to the game.
Any update
We've got an unpause.
from
We've got an unpause. So
the
game
unpause
is
coming
starting.
in? And we have returned with a duo cast. In case you've missed it, we have now lost our third caster, who was unfortunately struck by lightning. No, just kidding. He had a fire alarm go off, and he will be hopefully returning shortly. We see the flash come out from the Varus.
Yeah, hook
by
hits
the
is very
Blitzcrank.
good. They're probably going to back out now. Although, it looks like Imperial are trying to pressure this red buff, despite the loss of flash on their Varus. You know, if this guy gets hooked again, he's definitely dead.
Oh, he could go for it again. The Varus sitting in the bush with no flash is a bit brave.
Yeah.
And we're going to see them retreat to standard defense positions, take up a position against the invade.
Yeah, so they've got deep vision on Cambridge's side jungle, so maybe we'll see a lot of counter jungling out of the Nidalee. He's definitely got the tools to 1v1 this Kayn in the early game if he wants to.
Now, how are we going to see the early game play out? Xerath going for a bit of a poke, landing the Arcane Comet.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see too much out of this mid lane, as long as both players play sensibly. Although one thing is that the Xerath is very gankable, so potentially we'll see... in fact, sorry, both of them are very gankable, so I imagine we'll see a lot of the gank pressure in the mid lane. In terms of bot lane, I imagine the Vayne's going to be pushed in, so it might be difficult to gank.
Oh, we see the Blitzcrank hook come out, trading back onto the Braum. Fourth Braum passive gonna proc.
Actually, it's not quite an okay trade for both sides. They came out basically even after it.
See the
they're gonna
Xerath
hit.
pushing in.
Second
Second
hit levels 2 first.
Oh, the Blitzcrank Q connects again, and that is going to be the end of the trade.
Yeah, unfortunately it's level 1, so the E doesn't come out. Now they just need to not lose too much CS under this turret, and they should be fine. I think it's basically what they expect out of this lane, really.
See the Nidalee, the Kayn pathing upwards towards the Ornn, while Nidalee is invading the topside jungle of Cambridge.
Oh.
They're going to meet here. Oh, actually, they're just gonna miss one another. Nidalee walks out cleanly, takes the Scuttle Crab. Xerath placing vision. And we should expect to see some action. Oh, lands the knockup onto Katarina. And that is the ridiculous damage that Ornn does as a full tank.
Yeah, so...
Sam?
Sam...
The broadcaster's locked onto Kayn.
Yeah, Sam died.
Oh.
It's okay, we'll deal with it.
And we see the Ignite go down the middle lane. Can they finish off the kill? It's nice stun by Xerath. Oh, can he land the trade? And they're both gonna walk out cleanly. Both summoners down for the Xerath. Xerath and Syndra, no summoners, so we'd expect the junglers to return quite quickly. Both still low HP and sticking around. See the Kayn's still hovering while Nidalee has gone onto her top side. The Ornn continuously slapping away at Katarina. Chaos
Well-
Effect really making use of this top lane pick, bringing in a staple tank. Although his nerf may have come through, it doesn't impact this lane specifically because of the Katarina pick.
Yeah. So Nidalee is sort of hovering around this top side.
Oh, we see Ornn all in the Katarina, and
It's
she
basically
gets...
allowing his top laner to try and 1v1 him while just... Oh, he's actually going to go for a dive here.
And
Kayn is here,
picking
though.
out the Nidalee. Are they going to... Kayn is going to hop onto the Nidalee, has to back out though, because... Oh, flash in from the Katarina, can they pick up the kill? Flashes away. Ornn
Oh.
just joined. Nidalee beating the 1v2. And already
It has
see nice hook coming through, but Varus is going to proc the 4th. Nope. Disengages on both sides.
One thing that happened in the top lane was that the Ornn flashed over the wall to help out. Wasn't strictly necessary because I think the Nidalee was fine. But what it does mean is that they have a flash disadvantage.
And the Braum going on once again.
And
Katarina going
Braum.
back into the lane. That is the wrong direction. Where are you going? The Ornn chasing down. Can he finish off the kill? Yes, he can, and that will be the first blood for Chaos Effect. Really making this top lane a vulnerability for Cambridge.
Yeah, so one thing I have to say, I've just been informed that the stream is locked on Kayn right now, and there's nothing we can do to change that. Let's just hope that this Kayn gets into lots of fights.
Although what we have to praise here is the bottom lane that we flamed so much. See the TP coming in. Ooh, can she get onto Ornn? Shows the thumbs up. He is out of there. He's Gucci. The bottom lane until about 30 seconds ago somewhat even. Haven't died yet, but are holding the push advantage. Is there any chance that this Vayne can get to a point where she can carry?
She's actually doing a lot better in CS than she was last game. 29 to 44 is very respectable compared to, you know, where she was at last game.
Are Nidalee and Kayn about to meet again?
Oh, I actually see a fight on the stream now. Nope, they just back away.
Just
yeah.
back out, and there goes the Braum passive onto the Vayne. Busts the flash, not going to go for the kill. I think that if Varus flash autoed, that could have been a dead kill maybe. Oh, Braum going to run into the Blitzcrank, and the Game of Chicken misses the hook. Braum Q. This is just... Oh, Xerath might be in a bit of a pickle. Misses the stun, lands the Syndra. League of Stopwatch coming up, but that is not going to save him. Might as well save your summoners and the stopwatch if you know you're going to die.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have to apologize once again for the stream being locked onto the Kayn, and he's just farming, really. So, you guys aren't really seeing anything at all. One thing to talk about is this bot lane. So they're approaching level 6 very shortly. So they might see some kill pressure.
Smashes into the wall. Sorry to interrupt you, but this top lane never ceases to bring us the action, at least giving us some entertainment. The hook goes wide again on the bottom lane.
Yeah, so what's happened with our cameraman is that he had to leave because of a fire alarm. So we actually can't control the camera.
So we will try to bring the gameplay to you as actively as possible. If there's a if gameplay and commentary are not synced, that is because our cameraman is caught up in a fire alarm. Hopefully he will return soon. And we see the bottom lane going base now. We have a 1,200 gold lead for the side of Imperial College. Oh, Nidalee getting caught out. Doesn't manage to jump over the wall. Can Katarina chase him down? The Ornn comes out as well. Kayn flashes right into the Ornn. Nidalee should go down here, but maybe they're going to trade it up. Xerath landing all the spells, but getting chunked out from Syndra. Can they land another stun? Katarina gets a clean and sniped by the Xerath. One shot, another shot. And now can the Ornn chase him down? Xerath needs to be careful not to get chased.
He still has flash.
Flashes out. But this should still be the chase down. Cooldown just about to come up. Oh, never mind. Beautiful stun coming out of the Syndra, and she is out of there. Nevertheless, a favorable trade for Imperial.
Yeah.
And they are going to take away the blue buff.
Yeah, so Vayne managed to back with a BF sword, which means he actually has a fighting chance against the Barrett in the lane.
And I just have the update that our cameraman is back, although we do see another fight breaking out. They should back out right now and reset the map. And I will go check on our cameraman, so I'll be right back.
Okay, so I guess I'm solo casting for a very short period of time. Not much to talk about now. People walking back to their lanes, really. Oh, actually, there's a gank happening top side. This is an Ornn without flash. He's got it in 5 seconds, so this could be a kill. That is a kill. That is no escape from that. His flash comes out basically now.
I am back, and I still have no update on our cameraman. Production's telling me he's back, but
Production. Oh, this is a flash ult from Varus. Almost gets the kill, actually.
but all cooldowns are missed. We now see the jungler getting pulled into the middle lane, and this Xerath has been on point from the side of Imperial College.
Yep.
Now with the blue buff being denied from Syndra as well, we are going to see that lane constantly pushed in. I would expect the Nidalee to pace around the bot lane and get and put the Bane pick further behind. We see a 30 CS. Oh, pulled into the tower, but nothing significant coming out of that.
Yeah, so it's approaching a 40 CS lead in the bot lane, which is getting a little bit too much. In terms of if the lane wants to be able to fight these people.
Braum Q lands.
Nidalee might be going for a dive in the bot lane here.
I don't think they should be going for the dive. I think they should just pressure them off the tower. There are no cooldowns from either Varus or Braum. This would be an ill-advised dive against.
Yeah, so I think if the Blitzcrank hook lands onto one of the squishies, it could be very bad for them. The Varus has stopwatch, which means
Kayn and Katarina moving down though.
They are aware of this. The Katarina has just abandoned the top lane, so I think they were trying to get something to happen here and then TP in.
Jumps into the Nidalee.
If she wants to get this massive wave of minions, she's gonna have to teleport back, and she is.
Teleports back to the top lane. Did not get anything out of the Nidalee, not even a flash. This is a massive mismatch in all 3 lanes again, and the jungler being massively outpaced. We're looking at a more controlled game from the side of Imperial.
Yeah, I think this is what Cambridge wanted. I mean, their Kayn is actually doing somewhat respectably. 2-1-0 versus the Nidalee 0-1. I mean, he's getting out farmed and out leveled, but
and we are gonna have a pause coming in. Hopefully, our 3rd caster will be returning so that I can switch back to my non-color caster role.
Non-play-by-play.
Play-by-play, sorry. I got lectured on the differences today and still failed to understand the difference. But let's talk about the game plan here for both Imperial and Cambridge. We have Imperial coming in with 3 strong lanes, a jungler that is consistently up pressuring them. Should they both Rift Herald and the Dragon are up? Which should they be prioritizing?
I think the Rift Herald. Simply because cracking the outer turrets is one of the easiest ways to sort of take control of the game. Air Dragon, not really worth that much. If it was like a mountain, I think they probably would have gone for it. But yeah, definitely, I definitely take a Rift Herald over a Windrake. We've got an unpause request, so game starting again. Still no sign of our 3rd caster, so camera is still locked on Kayn. We apologize for this. I'm hoping that our colourful commentary will...
And we see fight breaking out of the bottom lane. Vayne just stands there. The Braum Q misses, but they will stun up the Blitzcrank instead. He should go down. The Nidalee comes, flashes out, flashes in with the execute, and now we see a fight going down the middle lane. Xerath uses the barrier, and both will use a summon each and get out cleanly. But Imperial will now push this bottom tier 1 and secure themselves the tower first.
Yeah, very easily. And Ornn's pushing top wave pretty handily.
Oh, we see the Xerath ult coming out. Doesn't snipe the Syndra though.
Katarina is bot.
Fight going down the bottom side. They almost stun up the Vayne. Katarina turning onto the Varus though. What? And this is just an awkward clown fiesta right now. The Braum will go down though. Stopwatch used on the top side. Braum diving onto the Kane. He will go down. This should be the tower in the top side as well. Oh, no, he's going to push up the wave. Nearly misses the spear on the bottom side. Vayne and Katarina still chasing after it. Executes the Katarina. Well played. He should get out clean. Oh, one more auto attack should do it for the Vayne. He just used it. Can he get away? Yes, he can.
Oh, okay. I think the HUD is bugged for me. It still shows Vayne's heals being up, but that's alright.
Oh, he's going back in. What is
yeah.
he doing? He should know that the Blitzcrank is here.
This is what I was talking about in terms of the overconfidence. There's a good chance that Nidalee died there, but he definitely has a lot of confidence in his players, Nidalee, so he makes these things that look quite risky, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
And we have another pause coming in. Hopefully we can fix the issue right now. We see that the top lane tower is about to go down. You'd expect Ornn to...
And we also see that the fire has been extinguished.
Oh, he is back.
Oh, goodness me. Okay,
I'm
so
still alive. It is good.
you need to switch your camera to directed. We've been following this Kane around for
I've been watching the Twitch stream, and it seems like it's going a lot better than it was last game, or at least somewhat better. Only 6-4.
Yeah, this is actually a respectable deficit for the team. I mean, they can definitely come back from this a lot more easily than an 8k gold lead. So, yep. I mean, they've lost... there's going to be 2 of their turrets shortly because the Ornn has been constantly pressuring this top lane, and there's been no sign of any sort of wave clear in the top lane. They've already lost their bot lane turret. I'm not sure how they're going to crack mid, potentially with the help of the Rift Herald, but we'll see.
There we go. Overlay is now back and correct. Now we've got to wait for the teams to unpause.
Yeah, so one of the good things about these pauses is it means we get to see some long games.
And Blitzcrank has... What is that summoner that Blitzcrank has?
This is Hex Flash.
I have never seen this before.
Oh, okay, so he's taking Hex Flash. It's quite good on Blitzcrank. Just coming out of a bush and surprising
Oh, 1 second on bot lane. We have 2 people running around really low health. Nidalee
That's
versus
the
Vayne in a
Braum
1v1.
teleport.
One also for the Nidalee. Leon Jones is fine, but she gets blasted by the Braum Q. Blitzcrank's running away. We've got a Kane incoming. Is it going to be a fight here? He's failed to walk through the wall, and he very swiftly decides against that because they're collapsing on Blitzcrank. They're collapsing on Xerath, though. Xerath bounces away and Blitzcrank misses the hook. That's a poor execution, but another good idea. Similar themes to last game. Good ideas, poor executions. This time we can't even... Okay, there's a 5k gold difference, but we can't blame it as much, at least, on the gold as the last game. Seems to be the CS in the bot lane, 129 to 68.
Although it has been a lot more controlled out of the side of both Imperial and Cambridge, respectively. We see Imperial go for the slow style that Samsung actually perfected at Worlds last year. Not anything comparable, but still a slow and clean macro, while the side of Cambridge has to look for picks.
We see the mid lane's actually fairly even at the moment, with the Xerath again just being given 2 unfortunate kills by the feeding teammates of Vincent there. Vincent's probably having a hard time of it. Still managing to maintain 0 deaths, 0-0. Kane taking away the blue buff at 40 minutes. I would give that to the Cinder if I were you.
Yeah, so... Has the Nidalee's taken the Xerath blue buff as well, so they're both equally
That's true, that's true. Xerath needs it less because of the passive. And we can see, is he going to get killed by the Xerath ult? Vincent just about managed to escape, while Extra Thick take the dragon.
And we see that the bottom lane in the meantime took down the Cloud Drake. We thought they were going to prioritize the Rift Herald to maybe crack open the mid-tier 1 and really...
Kane looking for something here, gets hit by the stun out of Xerath, going on to Nidalee anyway. Katarina rolls, decides against it, running towards Nidalee, dashes to the Xerath. Ornn is collapsing on them. This is not going to go well for Katarina. Unless she dashes out like that, Nidalee jumps with the Primal Surge. That's not gone well. Bot lane seems to be a fight going on here. Bot lane's fight's going well. Blitzcrank flash knockups for the Vayne. Vaynes keep running. One more auto should do it. Hopefully Blitz doesn't steal the kill. You just got to ward it. There we go. The high mechanics warding there, but they are being collapsed in by through the enemy team. Nidalee, Ornn, and Varus here. Ornn ult comes through. Vayne ults away. Blitzcrank's going to be killed. It does miss, but it's not going to make much of a difference as Blitzcrank's still going to down. However, I feel like Vayne is at least going to escape here. Ornn just staring down the Vayne at the end there, but...
So one for one trade in the bot lane, which is not bad. Although
They're
the
going
gold
to-
lead has expanded to 6,000.
Kane coming in, about to go. They think they've caught Midley. Looks like they have. The stopwatch is not available. Must have already been used.
A lot of
Unleash
missing things
power
going
goes
on.
on. Ornn comes down. Ornn is so tanky. They shouldn't be going. Then there's split focus here, but the Vayne's going on. Now the stopwatch is available on the Varus. Varus is about to go down, but she takes out Vayne at the end there. Ornn is running away. One more hit should do it. There's 3 people knocking him down. He's going to try his hardest. He gets cancelled. This should be the end. Braum and Xerath coming to help. He does go down, but the Xerath stun ends up hitting Kane. Katarina is going on a bit of a wild chase there, getting hit by lots of Xerath stuff. Does he have his ult? He does have ult available. I would feel like he's going to use it now. No, he decides against it, possibly due to the lack of vision.
And this was very well done from the side of Cambridge. They were down 5k, held the fight, and getting some of those picks that they were that we talked about as the possible win condition. A bit late, but nevertheless they stopped the bleeding a bit. They should be able to farm the side waves. What does Cambridge do now?
They're just not pulling it off well enough. They are going for these plays and they're making the picks, but they're just mis-executing some bits at the end and taking some damage. Now we see that they're only 3 kills behind, but they're 5k. They need to get that farm in, especially on the Vayne. It's not going to go well without it. We also see that Vincent here is on the Syndra is taking quite a lot of damage and unnecessary poke from Xerath. He needs to just be a bit more cautious there.
Despite the bottom lane just getting 2v2'd by the Vayne Blitzcrank, I still want to talk about item spikes. If we look at the items, we see that Varus has completed both the Rage Blade and the Wit's End.
Scatter
He's massively ahead of the Vayne.
Shield totally the wrong direction from Braum there.
We see a bit of a skirmish
Wow,
coming in.
good
Varus
time.
ult comes in, hits the Blitzcrank, but they hook in the Varus. Kane is there as well. Don't think Varus was expecting a really cocky play coming out of Kartai here, but they still managed to get the Kane. Kane is just not respecting the damage coming out of this champion here. Nidalee's going to try, and Nidalee does manage to steal away the Gromp. There's a fight going down mid lane as well, as Vayne manages to die.
Alright, we see a close trade.
Nidalee's still hunting in the top lane. There's still 2 versus 1 here. She does hit the Q. And in the mid lane, Ornn has managed to tower dive the Syndra. We missed that one after seeing the top lane fight. We're going to go straight back to top lane. Vayne's attempting the 2v1. The TP comes in. Katarina ults. Nidalee should be able to escape, fight the universe. Braum teleports in and the Ornn's still there. Blitzcrank's going to get picked off. Katarina wants to help here. Flashes over the wall. Completely veils everything and dies. Ah, how many times have you seen that in solo queue?
And that was really well done from the side of Imperial. Turn around the fight with the teleport. We see their vision control on the top side is impeccable, allowing them to go for those picks. Going to take down the top tier 2, and they should move onto the Rift Herald now.
Rift Herald will be an objective. We see Ornn going in instead for teleporting to the bottom lane, push out some of that wave, which is just being a stack up. Just as you think Cambridge is about to get going well. They're just getting outplayed here. They go so long. That's such a long chase. Nidalee's running around the top jungle round about blue, thrown around in circles for ages. It takes them so long that Extra ThICc have time to win a fight on mid lane, TP into top lane, and then win the fight on top lane as well. They still haven't done any damage to Nidalee in that time, and she actually lives.
One of the things that Braum has been pulling off
Varus ult comes out on the mid
plays.
lane onto the Syndra, but nothing comes of it.
Yes, one thing I'd say is that this Braum has been pulling off a lot of teleport plays, whereas the Blitzcrank hasn't really gone for any of them.
Kane's coming into the mid lane, knocks up the Xerath, ults the Xerath. Xerath uses Baron, but he doesn't have anything else up. Xerath flashes away. Does the Kane up going to finish him off? Does not have the Dusk Blade damage yet. Scatter the weak kicks the Varus. Unleash power on the Varus is not doing any damage, but there was enough from the Kane at the end. Ult from Xerath coming in. Is he going to hit anyone? 1, 2, 3, 4.
I feel like Xerath should have cleared out the minion wave here instead. Is this the overconfidence that we talked about from Imperial?
I think this is the
Can this cost
overconfidence.
them any more?
When you get enough free kills, you forget the enemy team actually can dodge Xerath ults. Mind you, the
Got a
overconfidence
1-for-1
coming
trade.
out of Katarina here nicely sidesteps the ult, gets hit by the Braum Q and has to flash away. That was really unnecessary. She got, what, 2 CS out of that? Bot lane, though, looking to collapse in on the Ornn. Ornn does get the tower, but Blitzcrank's going to hook him straight in. Let's see if he hits the hook. Here we go. He hits the hook, does hit the hook. Knock up straight in here. Vayne knocks him away. That should have been a stun. Cleverly backing away here, though. We've had so many times where she goes in. Braum's coming to help the Ornn, though, and he does escape with the Unbreakable. See, if Vayne had stunned in there, we might have seen a different ending to that fight.
Meanwhile, Nidalee got picked off in the top side. More gold for the side of Cambridge. They keep farming the side waves.
Scatter the weak, hitting the Ornn as he does there. Blitzcrank, oh, nice juke of the hook punch. Is he going to have enough? Blitzcrank doesn't appear to have his ult up. Ornn ult coming in to try and save himself. Knocks up the Blitzcrank again. That wasn't Scatter the weak, whatever the W is called, hits him. And
Nobody
the end
knows
of a
what
fight,
it's
Kane's looking like he's getting dangerously low, but it is only the Braum. Katarina manages to shut down the Xerath back there. Didn't see Katarina teleporting in, going for the Braum. Gets 1-2 dashes, third dash. Is that enough to kill him? Syndra's going to be looking to steal this kill at the back here. In the end, Katarina does get it. But that is, again, some greedy play by Extra ThICc. Getting some kills for Cambridge, although they're still 6k behind in gold.
Yeah, so
And
this
now-
Katarina was previously 2-5, now she's 5-5. So there's actually some scary top
This
laner.
is going well, and they are looking to push on this inner tower mid lane. Nidalee is the only one alive to defend it here.
And Cambridge coming out with a lot
In fact,
better
she's
strategy,
getting
it
dived
seems.
on by the Katarina, realises her mistake, runs back, but Katarina gets hit by the virus. Maybe an overchase. Scatter the Weak comes out, but it doesn't do any damage. Rooted was Vincent, went under the tower, so she has a flash away, but it looks like they're out safely. Maybe a couple of flashes that didn't need to be burned or burned there, but other than that, Katarina's going back in. She gets the kill, dashes away, dashes back in. Blitzcrank flashes in.
Oh.
Lack of synergy there. The timing on the Blitz flash was totally unnecessary, but the 1-for-1 Katarina, you could argue, is a good thing. And now Vayne's got to dodge, has got the tumble to dodge that. Doesn't rely on the tumble, actually heals and then dies to the Xerath. That shouldn't be happening. You should be able to avoid it in that stage. Ornok comes in, cleaning up the back. It's looking really bad for Imperial very quickly. We have Kane there right at the back, dying slowly but surely. Imperial are gaining the lead in this team fight as we see Kane at the back there.
So that's an ace for Imperial.
I
they'll
like-
lose that,
I
they'll
like
lose that
the,
mid turret and they'll lose the dragon.
I like the initial idea from Cambridge though. Go for the middle lane push, take down the tier 2, but they didn't execute cleanly. Once again, had they simply backed out,
They backed
retreated
out off
safely.
the tower, then they would have survived for much longer. They just got clean up on the end. But again, the 6k gold, or the 7k has increased to a 9k now. It's not too bad. The Dragon's what they have to look out for. Again, Katarina going for the greedy plays, but it looks like it might work this time. The Gunblade comes out onto the Xerath. Xerath's going to stun them up, or not, stops her in the play. She's trying to make the plays, just needs the backup to do it. If she had a bit more damage rate, I feel like these are champ players who maybe used to not being quite so far behind. Katarina with 90 CS in 22 minutes. Used to doing more damage.
And, ooh. Quick flash from the Blitzcrank, now caught out of position. We should see Imperial slowly start to push up their side waves. They've set the Rift Herald bot and slowly chip away at those at that tier 2 in the mid lane. They have the option for Baron though, and they have vision control around it.
Does
Yeah,
look
this
like
Varus has a lot of damage, so the
Extra
second he
ThICc
gets
are going
there,
for the Baron here. Xerath trying to hold them off her back, but they are not actually doing the Baron that quickly. Kane's coming, trying for the steal. He's way too early. What's he doing? He's going to ult to save some damage. Blitzcrank hook. They do get the scatter wick down on Nidalee. Nidalee. Vayne's in the middle of the fight. Vayne is currently untouched. So much damage. Flashes away from the Xerath Q. Not managing to dodge the jolts. Unstoppable. It's going to hit the Vayne at the end there. Kane dashes to grab past the wall. There's quite an even a fight. Katarina comes at the end, flashing onto the Nidalee. Nearly getting the kill from Nidalee, but in the end she's going to get away, and she's now having to 1v1 the Brom's going to get hit by the Q at the end. They're dying to the Nidalee. We're going to have the Ornok come through as well, knocking up the Syndra, who just about managed to escape, but then runs straight into the laser from the Xerath. Now we're going to have Syndra dead and Kane following.
that fight was going so well.
It was
for
going so well at
Cambridge.
the start, and then they just had a few misplays, few missed mechanics, not quite in the skill shot. Meanwhile, the Rift Herald kills the bottom tower. Blitzcrank here probably could have benefited from a defensive summoner in that team fight.
Yeah.
And we see that we've passed the 20-minute mark, but nevertheless the vision control, the patience, and the top wave were a bit too much for Cambridge. They bit off more than they could chew. I would even put my money on saying that the Baron did the most damage for Team Cambridge. Simply because the gold difference has now surpassed
And yeah, we can see
11,000
where the
gold
gold
mark.
is here. The top and the ADC. Katarina 3k behind the Ornn, but Vayne 5k behind her counterpart Kartai here.
Yeah, so that last team fight, one of the interesting things was that Varus basically did nothing and died instantly. And it was still an ace for Imperial. So I mean, that was really the best team fight they could have hoped for. And it still
Katarina
went-
getting very cocky
still
here.
went
She
sour in
thinks
the end.
that Braum's alone, but I don't think she realised the rest of the team's here. Braum turns around on ult. In fact, Braum might be doing the same thing. There's going to be a 4v4 here. Unfortunately, Bane's in the bot lane, and ICL know that. They're going onto the Braum, but this is a very bad idea. They have no ADC. ADC was the most damage last fight. Kane, again, trying to back and forth Nidalee. Hit the Baron and get out there, man. Hopefully, it does look like Extra ThICc.
But look at Look at the top lane wave for Imperial. It's the super minis are pouring into the base. They're going to take out the wave, and Cambridge have to back off from the Baron.
But then
Imperial
so do
should be
Extra
going
Thick.
for
They
this.
should be going for the Baron. They walked mid lane. They seem to be deciding that actually Baron was a good idea, but they didn't have any vision of Vayne. Maybe they suspected that Cambridge. They are definitely playing a bit more respectful. They do realise that Cambridge actually has some potential here. Nedley's taking quite a lot of damage from this Baron. I'm going to see just how
Ooh, almost gets hooked there.
the hook wouldn't have mattered so much there. It's running away.
Imperial
Still
nevertheless
doing the
continuing with the Baron. Cambridge needs to still be careful as they know the Xerath is not with them on the Baron.
They do not
In fact,
have vision of
poking
this
away.
Baron just yet. They just see the Xerath on the outside, and the Baron does go down. Are they going to chase the fight? Varus gets the ult off. Blitzcrank's going to die. Kane's going to ult. Varus is going to. Vayne is still there. Vayne's going to hit by the Ornat though. Syndra and Katarina come in the back. Katarina dives in, but has no Zhonya's. What are you doing? Syndra is still running at the back. She can't get anything off. She gets a brutal scatter the weak off, but there's nothing that can be done to save the team. They were really outpositioned with like Syndra and Katarina coming from the back. Vayne, Blitzcrank running through the front. Katarina dives in without the Zhonya's, instantly
Teleport.
dies. Teleport coming in. This is not looking good for the Vayne. Vayne's coming back. Leo Gens heals, fires. Scatter the weak comes off, but just not doing enough damage with the ult. Syndra comes back. We'll have a bit of a lag there. Syndra's going to die. Vayne, and can we manage to Vayne outplay? Blitzcrank's 10 seconds. Katarina's now also 10 seconds. What's going to happen here? We're going to see one tower going down very shortly. Second tower coming in. They're going to make a play. Come on, Vayne. Last breath. Flash hook on the Ornn. Just the target you want. Going to be hit up. Are they going to try the tower dives? In fact, the whole team of Cambridge has respawned. This might have been a cocky play by Imperial. Katarina's going in. They still can't get through the Ornn. Katarina's going to die 1 inch off the fountain. Vayne gets pulled in with the Braum. Kane's going to dive in, try to kill him as much as they can, but they just spawned, all instantly died. That will be the first round of the MMOCircles. Cambridge versus Imperial College London going over to Extra Thick.
And that is going to be a clean 2-0 from the side of Imperial. A bit of a longer game than last time, almost 10 minutes more this time. We thought this game was going to go a bit quicker than the last one, but Cambridge, they dragged it out. They almost pulled off the impossible.
Almost being maybe an exaggeration there. We've got 27 minutes and not with 27 minutes, 18 game goal lead, not the most. However, these teams truly were the ambassadors from Dirt Division, pulling out the bronze team comp, which worked a lot better than the high class team comp. That is an Extra Thick 2-0 against Dirt Division ambassadors.
Yeah, I'd say one thing to think about going into the rest of the tournament is Extra Thick sort of showed a bit of overconfidence in this game.
They did very much show overconfidence. Now, if we're going to go back to the tournament bracket just a second, if I can get it up. So, Extra Thick and Dirt Division ambassadors. Extra Thick is now through to the second round, and they're going to be against the victories of IC Win. Can you tell us anything about IC Win versus bunch of? Well, they're going to be against the victors of IC Win versus bunch of randoms. Can you tell us anything about IC Win?
So, IC Win is, I think they won the Imperial in-house tournament. So this is a team that was been together for the whole of last term. They're a team that focuses mostly on team coordination. They've got a AD carry who really likes Vayne, I believe, if I'm thinking of the right team here.
Well, I mean, if the Vayne today is anything to judge by that, shouldn't it?
Yeah, so I think we should see some higher quality. Wait, oh crap, did ThICc win? Okay, fine. ICO didn't win the in-house tournament. It was actually a different team. I lied about that. But they definitely went far in it. Yes. So I think they've got a bot lane that they rely heavily on, and I think that's somewhat the same as how Extra Thick's been playing it. If you notice this game, they got a lot of leads out of their bot lane. They were ahead massively in both games, but that might have just been the skill disparity.
Well, that should be an exciting match then, given that the current meta seems to be focusing on the bot lane once again. Return of the Ardent meta, just with different items now.
And we're going to see a bunch of randoms actually, as the name suggests, they have never played together before. They have been put together for this tournament because they wanted to play. So we're going to see how they fare against an experienced Imperial team. Good luck to them.
I do want to come back to the damage graphs on from this game too, though. Take a look at that Ornn damage. 23,000, second most in the game from a full tank Ornn with an Iceborne Gauntlet. That is absolutely ridiculous. Chaos Effect is the MVP in my opinion for both of these games.
Yeah, I think across both games, he definitely put the most impact in. The Gnar last game was absolutely disgusting, and this Ornn, 9-2-20 is like a massive amount of kill participation and kills and damage and gold. You know, he really pulled out all the stops in terms of shutting down this Cambridge top lane.
Right.
And once again, we're gonna go to the draft of Team Imperial College. They went for the Nidalee snowball and map pacing, and they pulled it off quite well. A bit overconfident at some points, which, again, I think they should work on their vision control and their execution speed, given that one Baron call that was a bit slow from the side of Imperial. On the other hand, I do think they have been handed a free when in the draft phase, and considering it took them 30 minutes to close this out,
Yeah,
they definitely could have been cleaner.
they definitely could have been cleaner. They definitely couldn't be better. But we're going to have to see how they fare in the next round. That is it for today's stream for the MMOCircles Imperial versus Cambridge tournament. Join us again tomorrow. What's the time of the game? 6:30 p.m. No, it's not. Tomorrow is 8:30 p.m. Sorry. So tomorrow is going to be IC win versus bunch of randoms. It is that the other game that we mentioned just now. I'll put the tournament bracket back up. So we're going to have a bunch of randoms versus IC win. The winner of that match will face Extra Thick in the second round. That is tomorrow at 8 p.m. Then on Thursday we have Currently Untitled versus Fine British Salt, which is the top Cambridge team versus an ICL team, which is also doing very well. So that should be a close match. We're going to have to hope that Cambridge can pull their weight tomorrow as well. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye from the rest of the broadcast as well.
Yep. Bye bye.